Welcome to Bridge by Words, the podcast where aspiring leaders such as yourself connect with experienced politicians, gaining insight and inspiration for their own political journeys. And today I am very fortunate to be sitting down with Alice Jordan-Baird, the member for Gorton in the federal Parliament. Up here in Caroline Springs.
Represent. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me, Ethan.
Thank you. I guess, did you want to do a quick brag about the area you represent?
It's the best in the West, I guess. It's I think it's the best place in the world. So the Western suburbs, the area I'm privileged to represent, is sort of Western Melbourne. I live in Sydenham next to Taylor's Lakes, and the electorate that I represent has 200,000 people, all from the Western suburbs, all the way from Deer Park to Thornhill Park. So we've got a wonderful growing community out this way. In the city of Melton, 80 babies are born every single week. Yeah. So it's a huge booming area.
Oh, is Melton a part of that as well?
It is. So I have the city of Melton. So the Melton proper is actually in my friend, the member for Hawke's patch. So it's not quite in my area, but
very close.
Most of the LGA of Melton is actually under Gorton, which is really interesting. So, so where we are in Caroline Springs is part of the city of Melton LGA. So we've sort of got growing community. We've got older community up in Clara, which is a very old historic sort of gold, very, a very long time town, was back hundreds of years ago established. So that's a really old historic part of the community. And then, the brand new suburbs that are being built every day.
Yeah. Booming
Indeed.
Booming. I'm familiar with the area. When I first moved to Melbourne, this was like the area I lived in.
Probably looks really different now, actually, to when you lived here.
Since 2021, it's changed a bit.
It's a lot of growth in that time.
The whole point of this is we try to kind of chronologically, in a way, follow your journey into wanting to step up and represent your community. And I think in your maiden speech, you talk about, and we'll probably go before you even existed, this beautiful moment that I think where your parents met on a bike ride, part of a protest or something. Did you want to expand on that? And then we'll try and any lessons or things you've learned from that? Definitely.
So my parents actually met on a anti-uranium mining rally on the steps of Parliament House in Canberra. Yeah. So they were part of a bike ride, part of Monash Uni had a contingent up from Melbourne riding up to Canberra. And that's how they actually met. So they're both very politically engaged. They were since uni kids, so it was very much part of our family dinner conversation all the time. They both worked in the railways. So my dad's a railway signalling engineer. My mum was the first woman to work on the underground rail loop, so as we know, the City Loop. Yeah, wow. At a time where the railways were dominated by men. So I think, they're a huge part of, my step into politics, and definitely politics. There was nothing off the table when we were at home as kids. I've got two big sisters, and we'd always have big discussions about what was happening in Australia, what was happening, in other countries in the world, over, our dessert at the dinner table when I was in grade 3, so it was really part of, my upbringing, really.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm jumping forward a bit or not, but because I've lost, or maybe I'm jumping in it too soon. I don't know. Maybe
that's okay.
I've lost family, and it affects us all in different ways. I think your sister Clara.
That's right, Clara.
The question I've got is this: you've spoken very movingly about Clara and how grief eventually crystallised what mattered. How did losing her change the way you think about public life, time, courage, and service?
Definitely a lot. It really did. As I said, I have two big sisters. I was the baby of the family. I always adored, looking up to my sisters and all they did. They law students, so very politically engaged as well. I joined the Labor Party with my sister Clara. We used to campaign together. We used to go out to events and, canvass and door knock and things like that together. So when my family lost her when she was only 28 years old, she collapsed at work. She worked for a law firm. And they couldn't revive her. It was devastating. I was absolutely the hardest thing that I've ever had to experience in my life. And I think
sorry to bring that up.
No, that's okay. No,
I think it's integral.
It is. It's integral to who I am because she was always integral to who I am. And I think the fact that it really does bring you back to basics, right? When you lose someone that's important to you, and you would know this as well. You kind of think about what's really important, what really matters. And I think it's a huge reason why I put up my hand to run for federal parliament, because it does crystallise what's important. And what is important to me is health and Medicare and protecting Medicare, which is one of the reasons why I joined the Labor Party in the first place. Yeah. So, but definitely she's always with us, and, the person you've lost as well is always with you. I think we're not very good at talking about grief as Western society. Yeah. It's something that people kind of, they and are so great when it first happens. Your house is flooded with people, and you've got baked goods, to the end of the earth, lots of frozen meals, which is great, and that support is really important when it first happens, right? Yeah. And then the service happens, and that's really hard to go, and you're just running on adrenaline at that point. You're like, let's just get through this. Yeah. And then after the service, all of that support kind of falls away, and, you're just kind of surrounded by lots of dead flowers in your house. And I think that's when you need the most support. That's when we should be surrounding ourselves and wrapping up, our friends and family around during that time, because that's when the adrenaline runs out, right? And you have to deal with all the admin and sorting through the house and all that kind of thing. That's when I think we need to get better at building the village, to support people at that time, because grief's hard. It's really hard. I still live with it, and you would as well. Certain,
my mum, by the way, just in case I didn't clarify that. Yeah. But no. Yeah.
But I'm sure there's still things that, your mum's favourite food and, favourite places she went and that kind of thing. And hopefully you get to a point where
this over the top displeasure of any haircut I ever get. My mum was a hairdresser, so it's that
would do it.
There's weird nuances. Anyway,
Yeah, definitely. But
no, they're with us.
Yeah, they are. And your mum's so proud of you, and she really is. And I feel like Clara would be really proud of me as well.
I reckon she would be. Because I think, what was it saying? I've got it written here. Was it go where the work is interesting, I think.
Yeah,
right?
That's what she told me. I put that on my very first speech.
Yeah. I use that to help research it. So and you read that as go where you can make a difference. Yeah.
Definitely.
How does that play into how you do your work every day in public office?
Definitely.
Or even beforehand.
I think I always said yes to opportunities, I think. So I really took her advice really strongly from a very young age, because, as you know, Ethan, I didn't study politics. I didn't, I don't come from the traditional politician background that so many of my colleagues
either whether it's a union or going through law
or
at uni.
Or a legal background or economist or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I don't have any of that. So, I did science. I majored in neuroscience. You study your brain and your nervous system, because I love people. I want to understand people. I love understanding how and why we make decisions.
What's under the hood?
Let's learn about that. Yeah. And that's why I did neuroscience, because I'm so interested in understanding people. And it's actually very useful, I think, in this job. The logic and reasoning skills that I learned in science, I think really helps me when I look at policy and when, I'm part of federal inquiries into different topics. I think, that is something I feel really grateful for, that I've got that experience. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've done all these different things because of these opportunities that have come up, and I've said yes because it is interesting, and I did want to make a difference, right? So I think putting up my hand was definitely the scariest thing I've ever done.
To run initially, or? To run initially.
To run for pre-selection, I think, was probably this, I never thought of myself as a politician, never. I think I always, really admired the work of politicians, and but I never saw myself as the face. I always thought I'd be behind the scenes, because I worked for 3 years behind the scenes in state politics. Yeah,
as a staffer sort of.
As a staffer,
and you see the realities, and you'd think that'd change your mind.
You'd think,
right?
But so I never thought I'd actually be the face. I never thought, and maybe that's because of being a young woman. When I was at school, I saw how Julia Gillard was treated, in the headlines, obviously, unfortunately, using some of that language.
And it's still the same problem today.
Back 15 years later, which is pretty crazy and depressing.
Yeah,
that's right. So I think a lot of women my age are probably, were quite put off by politics, I think, because we saw an amazing leader that was being treated with sexism and misogyny. Let's be real.
Because we're the same age.
Yeah.
It would have been during high school.
Yeah,
all that comes out and you're like, really?
Yeah, are we doing this? Crazy. So I think definitely it's never something I thought I would aspire to do, because I never thought I'd have the
guts or the
guts,
tenacity.
really, the guts.
So I guess what's that moment like? You're at like a Labor branch meeting or something, or you're with your friends who are also Labor friends, or not even, and then like, is it just in the shower one day and you go, fuck it, I'll do it? Or is it,
it's time. I think there's a lot of different decisions that were made, I think. And I think for me, I love the Western suburbs. It's my home. I wanted to see more for our area, I think. Yeah. And we just don't have the same health outcomes they do in the eastern suburbs. And I just think that's really unfortunate that people put off seeing a doctor because they think it costs too much money. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah, definitely. And particular specialists as well, the availability of them, it's just not the same as the East. And I feel like that's something I really want to change about this area and the perception of the West, because we have so much to offer. It's, as I said, it's the best place in the world.
Yeah, she's quoted on that. She said it earlier. Yeah. So it's not, what does the West teach you about politics that Canberra sometimes forgets?
Good question. Yeah. I think I love being back home in my community, I think, because that's the real people you're talking to. Like, obviously there's the Canberra bubble, which is one thing, but when you have real conversations with real people about real issues, that's where you find out what's actually happening. Yeah. And we're so lucky to be home to one of the most multicultural communities in the state, in the country, in the world, probably, in the Western suburbs. And I think, it's through these conversations we're learning about what's most important to community, right? Yeah. And when I went door knocking in Deanside on Friday to get a taste of how the budget's, going down with real people, there's, one thing that media say, whatever they want, that's one thing.
Yeah, we can criticize that.
Yeah.
Maybe another episode. Yeah.
But I think when you talk to real people about the difference it's going to make to them and their household budgets, that's just so
real
powerful.
People.
Real people, real people with real stresses about mortgage stress, household budgets, trying to see how, the next 5 years of their lives are going to go. Because, a lot of them are new families. They've got to work out childcare, school zones, everything like that. They're real problems.
Yeah, it's kind of made me a bit more optimistic about home ownership.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. It's such a game changer for young people, and with the 5% deposit scheme as well, there's so many good things we're trying to do to get people into the market, not just helping the top 10% or whatever. It's getting our young people to actually aspire to buy a house one day. You talk to, a lot of kids. I've got a work experience kid in my office at the moment who's wonderful in year 10, Amelia. If you ask her about, or do you think you'll own a house one day? So half the time the answer is no. Yeah. Which is terrible.
2 years ago I felt that I was like, I guess I'll just be an eternal renter.
And why?
Why should that be an option?
Exactly. We want to be the country of aspiration, right? We want people to get the Australian dream, and we're trying to make it easier for them to do that.
Yeah. And the budget's not perfect, but it does help level the playing field.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
I just needed to sound unbiased there for a second. I'm a young man, all right? The budget helps me. Not, if I had investment properties, maybe I'd have a different opinion. So you use the phrase, especially in the maiden speech, progressive patriots. What does loving your country look like when it is inclusive, multicultural, practical, and grounded in service, especially being here in the West?
Definitely. I think that's a phrase that I was really drawn to when I worked out exactly what it was, progressive patriotism, because I think there is this, and particularly at the moment, the rhetoric is pretty pretty awful out there, right? In terms of
Yes.
in terms of racism, in terms of division, all of that.
Yeah.
I think there is definitely a way you can love your country, you can be proudly Australian, and embrace, you know, the new age of modern Australia at the same time. I think there is that. We can't let the far right claim what it is to be a patriot, right? We need to make it accessible for all Australians, because we are all Australians, and we all love our country.
Yeah.
And if you talk to any newly settled migrants, there are so many wonderful newly settled migrants in my community in the West.
Yeah.
They love Australia so much.
Yeah. If anything, I think statistically they're probably more likely to wear an Australian flag
Definitely,
suit.
100%.
You know, when they get tailored suit flag.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they have, you know, cultural dress that they've altered for and added Australian flags onto. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think like there is a way we can celebrate being Australian and all the wonderful things that come with being Australian and having Australian values. Yeah. And be an inclusive society and make it so, you know, we're celebrating diversity, we're celebrating multiculturalism. We're not just pandering to the far right. We're being inclusive with how we go about it.
Yeah, because that, like, throughout our history, unless you're Indigenous, I think I was talking to Steve Georgianis yesterday.
Amazing.
Not yesterday, Friday. But anyway, I had an interview with him, and it is like, that is the history of Australia, unless you're an Indigenous Australian, which, you know, you're OG Australian. Well, yeah. And then everyone's a migrant since then.
That's right. We're a country of migration.
That's what the mosaic of Australia is. And even it's in our national anthem.
It is.
Yeah. So I'd like to see someone speak ill of our national anthem.
Exactly. For those who've come
to try and be exclusive.
Exactly right.
Again, I'm going biased there again.
No,
oh my
not
God, how
dare I?
I don't know. I'm just passionate about it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. As you said, for those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, it's in our national anthem. Yeah. It is. And and people forget that, I think. Yeah. They really do.
They don't maybe read it or sing it enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
You know, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I got a little heated there. It's fresh on my mind. See, especially being in the West and maybe being mildly neglected for a while with its development. You spoke about the roads, train stations, schools, GP clinics, childcare, and everything we've spoken about in this interview with like specialists and all that. Why are these not just technical issues, but fairness issues?
I think it's definitely a fairness issue, definitely. Yeah. I think, look, there's so much in it, right? Like we're a community that's growing. We have growing pains, that's for sure. And I think infrastructure is not keeping up with the growth at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's why we're, you know, upgrading the Western Freeway. It's why we're upgrading the Calder Freeway. It's why we're trying to electrify the Melton line, because it feels crazy that in Deer Park, which is not that far from the city, that you have to jump on a V-line train that are only going three services an hour or whatever. It makes no sense, right? Yeah. So I think the pace of growth is happening. There's no doubt about that. But the pace of the infrastructure is just not matching that of growth. Yeah. So there's a lot of work we need to do, all levels of government working together. Yeah,
because that's how it is. You know, there is this another opinion of mine. It seems to be like the federal government seems to get all this attention and criticisms when it's the state governments that I guess on the ground are probably very more responsible for delivering and building and all that. And this isn't me criticising whatever government's in, but it's like you said, they all work together.
That's right. And local government as well, right? And providing programs and services also really, really important as well. But, and I think, you know, and it's no fault of, you know, one person or whatever. It's about how can we work together better now, and how do we address these issues now? And we do the work now to plan better communities. Yeah. And that includes things like healthcare. It includes things like transport. Yeah. But infrastructure is the basis of everything, I would say. Yeah. I talk about it enough. I've even got tramp socks on today.
I didn't even notice that yet.
Represent.
Okay.
Anyway.
Onto it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I do like trains. So you connected your earlier hospitality experience with low wages and traineeship pressures to why you joined Labor. What should young workers know about their rights, and what did that experience teach you?
Good question. So definitely. So when I was 14 and 9 months, I went off with my CV like you probably did, Ethan.
Yeah. Local fish and chip shop.
Yeah, how
Not
good?
Fish and chip, anyway, local petrol station.
Local petrol station, love it. So I went out to a local burger place. I will not name them, but they're known for employing a lot of young people. And they, in essence, made me sign up to a traineeship to justify lower wages, which is not legal.
Bit predatory.
Indeed. And I didn't really know what to do, right? Like I'm 14 at this point. Like if your manager tells you to sign a contract, like of course you're going to sign the contract.
The adult said so.
Exactly right. So I felt a bit unsure about it, and as I said, I've got two big sisters. They were both law students at the time. I kind of asked them for some advice about what I should be doing here, and they sort of encouraged me to think about unions and joining a union and young people and getting interested in sort of workers' rights and that kind of thing. And that's why I joined the Labor Party, because of that.
Because they're so entwined, aren't they, historically?
It is. They are, exactly. Because, we need to protect young workers. Like that's exactly what we need to do. And I think that's why I really am enjoying my role at the moment, because I can be the voice for young people.
Yeah.
We're a young community. I've got a lot of young workers that are 14 in my community that are, potentially being taken advantage of in this way as well. And that's why I'm so proud we've passed such significant reforms in the workplace, the workforce area, like same job, same pay, like many others that I won't bore you with. But, it's really important to get these recognised, right? Like, and for young people to actually feel informed about the decisions they're making that can affect, their lives.
Yeah. I just imagined 14-year-old you sitting there in that office at the back burger joint with the manager in front of you, slides the contract in front, and you go, hold on, I'm going to speak to my lawyers.
Yeah, let me cut off my lawyer.
Yeah, just imagining
lawyers, that. Student sisters, yeah.
So, built some work experience doing all that, and then you stuck going to university. So you studied the neuroscience and worked across education, public transport, and water policy, and as a staffer. What would you say to someone whose career path looks a bit messy and is a bit all over the place, yours truly, but still wants to contribute?
I think our experience helps us in that way. And I think it's something I tell young people, whoever's interested in politics. A lot of people ask me, how do I get your job type thing, which is great. I always encourage people to definitely try and take my job, as they should. But I always say you should definitely get some experience outside of politics as well. But just say yes to everything, yes to every opportunity that comes up.
Yeah.
And, I think my experience outside of politics was so helpful. It really was, I think I learned so much in my work in behavioural science and, in my health policy work. I think, I learned so much from those jobs, and it's that critical thinking, that logic and reasoning that I've brought to this job that has made me be a better parliamentarian. It's made me be a better representative. And I think the more people you can meet and understand what their needs are, what their issues are, the better you can advocate for them. So be a good listener, I would say as well.
Yeah, okay. Plus it makes you a good communicator, which I think is probably a lot of your work. I'm
learning how to do that. Learning how to be a good communicator and use language that people use, right? Like you don't want to bore them with hard words they don't understand. Like you need to speak like them. What's
the example of that? It's like you want to talk to the people as if you're Bob Hawke, not Paul Keating.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't want to bore them with all the numbers. So you speak strongly about, what about your speech strongly honours women in your family, your friendships and your Labor caucus. What have the women around you taught you about leadership that formal politics often misses?
Everything. I think the women in my life are so incredibly important. I made a joke in my first speech is why I had 7 bridesmaids, which I know sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I rely so much on my female friendships and my 2 big sisters and my mum. They definitely shaped who I am today. But, in this role, I've had the benefit of, getting to know other new women MPs, right? And my new colleagues up in Canberra. They're so important to me as well. The women that I've made friends with in this current job, right? Because a lot of them are new. They're going through the same things as I am, share experiences. But I think they're so important. They're the most important thing, I think, in my life, female friendships. I wouldn't be who I am without them.
Yeah. Because that would be reinforcing in the same way that, like, I don't know, you watch a movie and you see yourself represented, but like it's actually people you're working with. I don't know. That seems like a big deal to me.
No, it is.
You know?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And like we just look so different to Parliament 30 years ago.
Much different.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah.
Like,
and I want to say that you guys make it look like fun.
yeah,
When all you girls get together and like do social media posts and promote something together, you know what I mean?
I think like, you know, we're younger than we've ever been. There's been more women than we've ever had. Like in Labor caucus, there's 56% women and, you know, overall Parliament's still 44% women. So we're not quite 50-50 just yet, but you know, we're getting there. And I think the more we reflect modern Australia, the better, right? Like the more we have people from diverse backgrounds and women and, you know, all of that, like people with lived experience, like the better policy we will make for the country. Yeah.
I think that sends that in itself just sends a really good message to other people who maybe want to consider it or step up.
Definitely. You can't be what you can't see.
Yep. Yeah. So you said you would represent people whether or not they voted for you. What does that actually look like in practice? You know, especially in this bit of a politically divided ecosystem we've got at the moment.
It's a lot of listening, I think. It's a lot of sitting down with people that may have very different views to me and understanding why they feel that way. I think there's a lot of frustration at the moment with politics. I think there's frustration towards the major parties. There's frustration towards people's own cost of living situations, and people are angry. And I think for me, the way I represent them is I want to sit with them, I want to listen to them, and I want to see how I can help them. Even though we might have very different values on many different things, I think the more I can listen, the better I can represent them.
Yeah. Any exciting ones?
In terms of examples of people that have very different views to me that.
Yeah. Like what's the reality like? So I remember, I don't know, maybe a silly example. I was listening to a podcast with, they had Hannah Ferguson, and she was telling the other guy she was speaking to, Ferg also coincidentally, that if someone sends her a sling of abuse on social media, on Instagram, she'll just call them. Be like, all right, what do you got? And they won't answer.
No, that's the thing. And I get that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bite in, you know, there's our, you know, keyboard warriors.
Yep.
But once you chat to them, like I've done that as well. You know, I've been sent a pretty interesting email, you know, having all these different views on things, and I've given them a call. They're very different when you talk to them on the phone. You know, and people are just, they're frustrated, they're angry because they're usually scared themselves about, you know, their family or their living situation. It usually comes from a place of fear. So the more you can understand the reasoning behind why they're talking to you in that way, the better you can understand.
And that only comes from sitting down, having that conversation.
Having those one-on-ones, so important. That's why I love doing street stalls and mobile offices and being out there in community, because you get all kinds, as I should, as the representative of 200,000 people, you know. So
how many people for your seat?
Yeah, it's 130,000 voters and 200,000 people.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
They're pretty big. They're pretty big seats at the moment.
Yeah. Might need a reshuffle, I think. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. So you get like a classic, like, oh, sorry for calling you the B word sort of thing sometimes, you know?
All the time.
I didn't mean to type that. That was a bit out of place. Sorry there, Alice.
Yeah. Oh, you seem all right, Alice.
Yeah.
You know, that
okay,
kind of
good.
thing.
Yeah. So I've just repeated my question there.
No, good. I think social media is an interesting one though, right? Yeah. Like I think it's very different, you know, for a parliamentarian 25 years ago, they're thinking about, you know, the media cycle in terms of when they put out their media releases. But, you know, for us now, social media means that you put things out all times of day, right? It's the number of minutes, that you take to put something out. It doesn't take weeks, and you don't have to wait until it gets picked up by various newspapers.
Yeah.
New media means that things are a lot faster now, and we're more accessible than ever too.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was about to say. Just a bit more, especially with these messages you might get.
Yeah.
Who was I talking to? Someone said it's like, one of the MPs I was speaking to, they're like, just any email that came in after 2 a.m, don't.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth engaging.
Particularly with Saturday night. You're like, how many red wines have you had?
Yeah. So for someone watching this who feels ordinary, unsure or not ready, what would you say about putting your hand up?
I felt all of those things when I put my hand up. Definitely ordinary, definitely unsure. I think the more you say yes, the more you force yourself to do things, is only going to make, people's lives easier, right? Like the more that you can say, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. If it fails, that's okay. I think we should be celebrating failure more. Something I feel really passionate about. I think we should be going for things that are hard, and if we do fail, that's okay. We shouldn't see it as a failure. It should be a success that we've put our hand up to do things. So even though it's scary, do it anyway, because I think you should do something that scares you every day. I definitely do a lot of scary things in this job. So I think, definitely.
All right, top one.
Oh, that's top one. I found my maiden speech pretty scary. I think.
Yeah. Watching it, like having a full room.
Yeah. And I think like you get lots of advice on it before you write it. Alice, this is the most important speech you'll ever make. It'll stay with you whether or not you're in politics. People refer back to it.
Yep. Some guy might use it as a point of reference.
Maybe.
In an interview.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure on that, I think. So I was quite nervous for that. But I think, I think I was really proud of it. I wrote it all myself. I think it said everything I wanted to in there. But that was a really scary thing that's over now, so I think you can do scary things, and you can only build up from there.
Yeah. Take the chances.
Take your chances. Yeah. That's right.
And with the maiden speech, like the inaugural speech, I like I've described it as like a ring on a tree. It's a timestamp of where you were.
That's
at that
right.
Time. Yeah.
It is, because there's, and we'll refer back to it in 20 years, and I'll probably use jargon that millennials in 2025 use. As opposed to it is. You're right. It's a timestamp.
Yeah, because it was like that when I interviewed Steve Georgianis the other day. It was like that, literally from 20 years ago.
Wow.
As he said, like a ring on a tree. Like, hey, yeah. So I guess I might probably wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I like we've been, unless there's something you really want to touch on while there's cameras here, but.
Not really. I think we sort of talked about, nearly everything. I just think, I think social media is really changing the game, I think. I really do. I think the social media ban is really interesting. We obviously have so much evidence on why we did it, but every school I go to,
it's not implemented.
Some kid is like, Alice, can you repeal the social media ban?
Oh, okay.
But I think, and you and I both grew up with social media, right? Like we
were on as it was coming.
As it was coming big. We had the MySpace top friends, moved on to Facebook, etc. Like I think the social media world now is totally different to when we started with it. It's a totally different world out there. Yeah. And what I would say to people that are aspiring to be, public figures or politicians or leaders, don't let that put you off. Like, social media is a bit of a cesspit, particularly on Facebook, but, don't let the haters be too loud in your own head. You know what you're doing. You know what's right. Just keep going. Yeah.
It's just one comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Preach. Usually there's a question I have that I round out, and I think I've already asked it like a million times in some way or form. It's like that if, the DeLorean pulls up here and you get in a time machine and you go back in time to the first moment you considered putting your hand up, what piece of advice would you give and why?
Good question. I think I'd say definitely do it. Definitely put up your hand. I feel like your level of tolerance for scary things increases over time. The more you do them, I guess.
Yeah.
As you know, as I've said, I'm a scientist. So I'm not a natural public speaker. It's not something that comes, a natural communicator in that way. Doesn't come super naturally to me. I think, stress less. Just keep your eyes on the goal and just work really hard and talk to as many people as you can. And I think be yourself as well. I think there's a perception of politicians that, you look a certain way and we talk a certain way and that kind of thing. But just be yourself, like just be a normal person. That's what people want to see from their politicians. They want to see them at their local schools. They want to see them, at their local cafe. They want to see a good community person that's going to represent them in the right way.
Yeah. And who's human.
Yeah, he's human and a normal person and can understand a 6-7 joke and things like that,
I don't get it. But anyway, that's the new kids. But no, yeah, because and as you were saying with social media, it's just this constant 24/7 thing. Mm-hmm. Imagine having to keep a facade up if you're not, if you're not being genuine and you're having to put this face up to the public the whole time. Mm-hmm. Exhausting.
Yeah, that's right. But I think I get a lot of energy from other people. So the community stuff I absolutely love. I love visiting schools. I love meeting young people. I love meeting older people. Yeah. I love seeing how we can help. I love that part of the job. I think the front facing public speaking stuff I'm still getting there with. But if the more I talk to people, the more I listen to them and see how I can help, the better I feel at night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right then. No, put into practice, kids. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I think we might wrap up if you'd like.
Yeah, sounds good.
Other than maybe going to a tirade about other things, but, anyway.
Turn off the cameras for that.
yeah, we can turn the cameras off. But no, Alice, I really appreciate you sitting down with me today. It was a bit of a long one to get there, but we got there, and but not the interview. It wasn't a long one. I mean, organising it.
No, definitely.
Because your schedule in itself is just
it's so tricky.
Bonkers,
it's just and the same with you. It's we've all got busy lives. So,
yeah.
No, thank you for having me. It's been really great to be on here.
Thank you, and cut. There we go.